We are here to talk about anti-Semitism and how to counter anti-Semitism. And I think if we want to do that, we need to understand what is anti-Semitism, who's behind it, and then we can understand how to counter it. So in my opinion, anti-Semitism is coming from three different sources. One of them is the traditional Christian anti-Semitism, what we call radical right, which existed more than 2,000 years, and in the United States, more than 200 years. The second type of anti-Semitism coming from radical Islam that existed from the 7th century. They have intolerance to anyone that is an infidel, which is un-Jewish. So they hate the Christians, they hate the Jews, they hate the Hindus, they hate anything that is not Muslim. They have some kind of tolerance toward them. But over the last 130, 140 years, as Jews returned to Israel and start settle Israel, their hatred to the Jews have exceeded the imagination. The third kind of anti-Semitism coming from the radical left. It's kind of a phenomena of the last 30 years. So this is part of the slogans that the enemies of Israel are using in the United States. They're building coalition with the gay and lesbian. This is over there on the top right. With the African American, Angela Davis here, with the gender equality in the middle, Indians, Americans, and obviously from Ferguson to Palestine, again with the African America and with the minority communities in the United States. Now, what can we do about it? What is the Jewish community doing about it? So the Jewish community for the last, BDS existed for about 15 years. For the first 10 years, everybody was asleep. Jewish community believed if we don't say anti-Semitism, if we don't say BDS, it will disappear. Well, it did not disappear. It's intensified. And together we are doing mostly asbara. We are communicating the truth about Israel. And the truth is, I don't think that telling the truth about Israel is enough. We need to do some other things. We need to communicate the truth about BDS. Who is behind it? What's their agenda? And maybe through communication, we can start gathering more troops. Let me show you what a Muslim professor saying today in the United States.
There are a large number of Zionists who are engaged with Nazi Germany.
Zionism, rather than being defeating anti-Semitism, is actually accepted anti-Semitism as the norm.
Some would say that America has the best Congress that money can buy. But we also say that our Congress is an Israeli-occupied territory.
We've been watching Intifada in Palestine. We've been watching an uprising in Iraq. And the question is that what are we doing? How come we don't have an intifada in this country?
The only language that the slave master understands is the language of violence.
We are the slave master.
But we need to translate our strength into harassment of the political leadership. We need to harass them. You need to sit in their offices, have a civil disobedience.
And it's about time that we have an intifada in this country that changes fundamentally the political dynamics in here.
Say that anti-Semitism, BDS, is growing in the United States like never before. They are riding on the progressive movement, what is known mostly as intersectionality. Basically says that all the underprivileged, all the minority groups in the United States needs to unite and fight against each one enemies. This is just an image that we drew 2 years ago, and you can see today how true it is that Israel is the floodgate. If we allow the radical Islam to take over Israel and the Jews, and it's becoming easier because you can see the radical left holding our hands hostage and don't let us even fight back. If we let this happen, this flood is already flooding Europe, where terrorists are dancing with multiculturalism with the Europeans and blowing things all over. If we let this happen, very soon it will come to America. And this image is 2 years ago. The only big crime we had 2 years ago, it was San Bernardino. Today we have many more, including Orlando. So we need to understand that whatever starts with the Jews, never end with the Jews. We need to show that our enemies are the enemies of the world, and I'll show later on in the question and answer how we're doing that. Thank you.